So my name is Ruben Arturo Garcia, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Certiverse. And I'm extremely humbled to be here alongside the other great contestants, Rob and Soji. So thank you very much for the opportunity. So certifications change lives, and I'll tell you right now that I am the poster child for certifications. Certifications have changed my life. They have allowed me to pay my way through college with that Nobel certification. And later on, those certifications allow me to work abroad and live abroad, and also work alongside great people like the father of performance-based testing, Jim Adair, the late Jim Adair. So I'm extremely humbled for having to take those certifications, and those certifications changing my life. And this is why we built Certiverse. So let's talk about today's legacy model. It is an extremely costly model to develop an exam, and those costs get passed down to learners and professionals. And also, because it's so costly, a lot of new programs just don't launch. Exams change every day, technology changes every day, and exams cannot keep up with the changing workforce needs. And to develop an exam, it requires subject matter experts that also have knowledge in test development. So with Certiverse, we're leveraging artificial intelligence to build development expertise into the platform. So what that means is that it allows subject matter experts to develop high quality content. It enables them to work asynchronous on their own time and on their own schedules, which transforms into not having expensive synchronous meetings, which are not only expensive, but also keep a lot of people from participating in exam development. Not everybody can travel to a subject matter expert workshop, and not everybody can take a day off to participate on an online all-day Zoom meeting. So the difference with Certiverse is that you can launch a certification exam in weeks and not months, and there are significant cost savings also with Certiverse. But I'll tell you right now, we didn't just focus on speed or cost, we also focused on quality. Over 90% of the items that get generated in the Certiverse platform make it into live production forms. So please join Certiverse and transform your testing program along with these awesome other partners that have done so already. Thank you very much. Was it under 2 minutes?
Absolutely, thank you. Ruben, congratulations on Certiverse and really democratizing exam development, improving the diversity in participation for exam development. I'm just curious, have you gathered any feedback from psychometricians, from exam development facilitators who have done it in a different way for decades together in terms of how do they feel about this model because it's such a disruptor?
Yeah, I mean, this is actually a really good question, Cass. Thank you for asking that. We have. So one of our largest clients is the National Restaurant Association. As you can imagine, they develop a lot of exams and a lot of certifications. But their main psychometrician did a ton of analysis, looked at our data before they signed last year. So we do have a lot of validation from psychometricians around the quality and so forth of the technology that we've implemented. It does incorporate validity and rigor throughout the entire process.
So Ruben, thank you for actually doing this presentation. Congratulations for being a finalist. So in full disclosure, my career started as an item writer. And so I'm really curious about item development is really a collaborative process. And so I'm curious to know from the writers, the subject matter experts' experience, what do you think is lost in the process where they're working with AI in their own time, individually? Does this really impact the quality of the items? And and what have you found out about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think there is definitely a trade-off thing. Thank you for asking that. And I believe that giving back subject matter experts a lot of time. So not only is the platform, it's an asynchronous model, right? So you work on your own time. But it does empower a lot of people to participate in the exam development process. And I'll tell you this, at the end of the month, end of the quarter, we write a bunch of checks for royalty payments based on anybody who's developed items who uses that model. And it's great to like see some of the names in there. You got high school teachers in Iowa City who wouldn't be able to participate in an item writing workshop. So it's a little bit of a give and take, but so far, I think the satisfaction has been high, and the amount of time that they have to contribute is also a fraction as well. I think there's other ways to engage the subject matter experts, like recognizing them, because a lot of the item writers that come into our platform are volunteers as well. Not everybody does it for the economics.
So, Ruben, I appreciate the presentation. It's super clear, and I think I have a pretty good understanding of what you're doing. Maybe just some table setting. So, we deliberately didn't have access to a ton of information in advance on all the companies. So, there's some sort of basic questions that I have just around like stage, where you at, revenue, how much capital we raised.
Yeah, so we are. The platform went live last January. Almost immediately after it went live, we signed National Restaurant Association, CIW, BGC. So we have a kind of a diverse set of clients, and I'll tell you that our main client was the Linux Foundation, which is, I think they're on their 5th exam now. So that was last year. Thank you, Linux Foundation. And fast forward 12 months later, we have around a dozen clients, hundreds of items developed, written, and thousands of exams also delivered because we also have a test driver. So that's from the client side, and our goal this year is to grow the client base to 30, and we're on track for that. There are some clients that are not on the slide, big government accounts that we can't put up there, but we are working with some of them. And from a financial perspective, we did raise 3 rounds. So we raised a pre-seed round of $1 million, $2 million of seed round led by the Chicago-based venture fund. And our pre-seed round was raised by a Chicago-based single solo venture capitalist, who's also Mexican like me, which was exciting to do that. And then we just closed what's called a seed bridge round or a seed acceleration round. Not quite ready for an A series, but we just closed on $2 million about 3 months ago. Great. Thank you.
Ruben, I'm curious. There's a lot of focus on security, obviously, and mostly when we think about security in exams, we are thinking about the test paper. Because these exam developers are working asynchronously, is there a way to validate that their work is actually original and authentic?
That's a really good point. I mean, we do have, so for subject matter experts to participate, we ask them to log into the system through a social network so that we can have some verification of who they are. One of our clients, the Linux Foundation, when they first launched, they put a call to action. They said, we're developing this new entry-level IT certification exam. We received over, I believe, 500 people who want to participate, which is very encouraging. But we do verify who these individuals are, mostly because some of them will receive compensation for the exams that they're developed. And for a lot of the Linux Foundation exams and partners that they deliver with, it is a royalty-based program. So that's another interesting thing that we change in the model, where if you develop an item, if you provide that intellectual property to be part of the exam, we are going to compensate you every time somebody sees your item.
Thank you.
So given the variety or the different types of organizations that are in this industry, what methods do you use to train your engine? I'm assuming because how we develop items in English language arts is probably very different from math.
Yeah, I can tell you that. So I think that what we've implemented in regards to the AI coaching, so that somebody can write items, so that I think it's very general psychometric rules. When I talk about the 90+ acceptance rate, it's really because when an author comes in and they start writing an item, the system's already telling them, remove that negative stem, your correct answer can't be twice as long. Just some of that is it's just simple stuff, but we're doing some more sophisticated things as well. But just enforcing the dozen basic psychometric rules means that when that item gets reviewed by another item author, they're not looking at psychometric errors and things like that. So the back and forth, it's really not there. But we're really now focusing on mostly IT certification, professional certification. Our model is really not designed for the academic market yet or for the regulatory market, although we do want to be there.
Probably have time for one brief last question.
Sure. So, just real quick, so I want to double click on Leanne's first question because I think probably a lot of people are thinking this, at least I am, which is, when I think of, when I hear cost savings, I think of the elimination of jobs. And so, this is an industry dominated by psychometricians. And so, on the test development side of things, what's unique to this industry, we've got this combination of like cloud infrastructure, compute speeds, chips, where automation is disrupting all markets. And it makes sense to me. Lower the cost of test production, allows you to, your certification body, lower your costs, passing those costs on to learners, increase your margins, the ability to do geographies. So all of this makes sense. I think, something I'm curious is how do you segment the market? Like, where do you see traction initially? Because I think in some of these industries, like psychometricians in this industry act in some ways as account managers, and there's relationships in this room that have gone back 20 years. And so the idea of introducing technology into those relationships that could disrupt those relationships, I think there's going to be a high degree of skepticism towards. So I guess I'm just curious, like how you position this in front of this in the best interest of the end users here, because I think the economic buyers can easily get on board with it. I think it's the psychometricians.
So I think, I'll say this out loud, but I think that all the organizations here, we're a very privileged group, and we have access to those expensive resources, which you're talking about. Psychometricians are really expensive, and to have some psychometrician involved to develop an exam, it's really expensive, right? And what we're doing is we're removing as many friction points as possible, because we believe that the certifications that are out there, it's just not the number of people that are here. We believe that there's a larger certification market where a lot of other companies can participate and generate certifications to help learners and professionals. So we feel that we're not going after this market, we're really going after an expansion of the market and letting everybody participate in other organizations participate in the certification market.
I think that's a great